Hello, my name is Maicon Pierre Lourenço. I work at the Universidade Federal de Espírito Santo in Brazil, and this work is uh, was done with the Professor Denis Salahub and his group in Canada. So, the title of the presentation is Taking the Multiplicity Inside the Loop, Active Learning for Structural and Spin Multiplicity Elucidation of Atomic Clusters. What about the chemical space? So we have a problem, which is, for example, we have here this structure, which is silicon 11, and we wish to dope that with aluminium, with free aluminium. So as we are doping, we have a combinatorial problem, which results in 155 structures, plus 3 possible spin multiplicities. So that defines our chemical space, which is this number. And the question is, how can we find, with fewer local optimizations as possible, the global minimum and at the same time the optimum spin multiplicity? This is the question. The second one is a global optimization where we have a cluster and we want to find the global minimum and the spin multiplicity as well. But on the contrary of the case 1, what I will call, in case 2, we don't have a discrete space. We have the, the x, y, z coordinates of each atom, and we perform a crossover or mutations from genetic algorithm operators in order to find what to sample the non-observed space to apply the global optimization method based on machine learning in order to find the global minimum and the spin multiplicity. So that's our problem. What active learning? So we have developed a software which we call QML Material, a quantum machine learning for software for material design and discovery. How does the active learning implemented in the software is done? So first we have step A, where we have the generation of structures. In the beginning, we have the initial population and we randomly get that. So for each isomer of our cluster, we have the possible spin multiplicity. In this case, singlet, triplet, and the quintet. It could be doublet, quartet, and so on. So we compute from local optimization in step B those structures with their spin multiplicities. And after that, in step B, we have our initial database. From those initial database, we perform a machine learning regression, and where we have a descriptor from the spin part, where we are going to discuss soon. And from the regression, we have exploitation, which is just prediction from the regression, and exploration, which is the uncertainty, which is the standard deviation obtained from Gaussian process, uncertainty, or from bootstrap, or cross validation methods. So, but with the exploitation and the exploration at hand, we can compute one acquisition function called expected improvement, which balances the exploitation and the exploration. The exploitation gets the local minimum regions, and the exploration goes further to global minimum regions of this potential energy surface. So after we get the regression and the exploration and the compute the expected function, we get this expected function and apply that for the structure generated from, for instance, genetic algorithm operator, mutations for example, which will define our non-observed space. From that, in step C, we have the machine learning in the decision making applied in the non-observed space obtained from the initial database obtained in step B. After that, we get those predicted possible structure which will minimize our potential energy surface, generate that again, compute that, and the cycle goes on until we find, for instance, the global minimum. So this expected improvement is uh, is defined like that. We have here in this part, this part here, we have the me, where the me is the exploitation, defines the exploitation. And here, the sigma, which is our uncertainty, defines the exploration. The exploration. So we have here the balances from the cumulative density function and the probability density functions. And the F mean is the minimum observed so far. So here we have the 2D plot of the expected improvement, where in the y-axis we have the uncertainty, and in the x-axis we have the exploitation. I mean, here we have the exploration and here the exploitation. So the proposal of the expected improvement is maximizing it. So when we have a higher exploitation value, for instance, and a higher uncertainty, we have that structure, for example, which will have the higher expected value, improvement. Therefore, it would be a promising structure to minimize our global optimization problem. So, for instance, let's say that here we have this star, which is our global minimum, which has the property 0.5. It's so far not observed. And we have this set here observed. So we will get this me, which is the average from Gaussian process, or the mean from the Gaussian process, or cross-validation or bootstrap. So we compute the uncertainty from this point here. If it has the minimum me and the higher uncertainty, we will get the higher expected improvement for that structure. And then we can, for example, from that, compute that, and we can do that in the non-observed space until we get the red curve here, the red point here, which is our global minimum. So the machine learning uses descriptors and correlates that with the target or the objective function, which in our case is the total energy of that zoomer. But we have now in this problem where we insert the spin in the loop, we need a descriptor for the geometry, which we tackle by, for instance, the m-body tensor representation, and to define the structure, for example, from this isomer here of this cluster. But we need the spin to describe the possible spin multiplicity. So we defined and we invented this simple spin multiplicity descriptor. So where we have, for example, 4 components. The first one is the multiplicity, 2s plus 1. The second one is the total spin quantum number, s. In the third part here, we have the spin magnetic moment, and the last one, the number of unpaired electrons. So we couple the MBTR, which is this blue one numbers here, obtained from this structure, and we couple that for the spin multiplicity quartet, for instance. We would compute those numbers and have this vector or list here, and we append that with the simply with the MBTR numeric part, which represents the geometry. So in this case, we have a total representation of the structure and the spin. So let's go to the results. we are going to present the results for the global optimization of this doping system, which we call also homotops. So that is the global minimum from our almost 500 structures space. So here we have some results and the tests as well. So on the left, A, we have the cumulative success by using the MBTR descriptor for structure, using the Gaussian process regressor, and we have here the descriptor where we have the four components. On the right, we have the cumulative success where we have the B, but now we tested the effect of the size of the dimension of the spin representation vector, but using just the multiplicity, and to see the performance of the cumulative success. So, what is the cumulative success? The cumulative success, as the process is random or stochastic somehow, we performed 30 independent runs, and we compute during these 30 independent runs, during this evolution of the new local optimizations, how many times it could find the global minimum. So for example, when we get 50% of, let's say here, for example, we have around 50% of cumulative success. Here we would say that in around 150 new local optimization for this yellow curve, which is random search, I mean no intelligence is done. In this case of the yellow one, it's just random search. So when we have, for example, let's say 50%, it means that in 100, around 100 new local optimization, 15 of these 30 independent runs, you get the global minimum. So we have here several tests using Gaussian process with the expected improvement, which is the trade-off between exploitation and exploration. The red one, this curve here, is the Gaussian process, but using the pure exploitation, which is minimizing the projection, the me. And here we have the just exploration, the maximization of the uncertainty. And this pink one is when we use another descriptor, which is the Coulomb matrix coupled with the expected improvement for decision making. So we can see that the black one presented the best cumulative success of all possibilities. So now on the right, we have the same cumulative success, but now comparing the best one which we got from this descriptor here, 4 components, the black one, and compared with several tests, the random search and the expected improvement with the MBTR descriptor, but using the spin multiplicity descriptor with just one spin multiplicity, the vector with 10 spin multiplicities, 20 and 30. And we show that actually, but using just 4 spin components different, with different representations, we can get good results, which is the black one. So here we have the one, just one expected improvement run. Sorry, here we have just one independent execution, and we got that to show that how is the spin jumping as a function of the total energy and the total number of local optimizations. So here on the left, we have the initial database with 20 structures. We can see that we have, in this case, the space of spin multiplicity is 2, 4, and 6. So we have here higher energy with multiplicities just most of that 6 and 4. I mean, we have a very bad initial situation here to mimic a difficult situation to globally optimize our problem. After that, on the right, we start with the active learning by using the spin multiplicity and the MBTR for structure. And we could see that with just more around 25 new local optimizations, we could find the global minimum here, which is this red one. Now we have the same problem but tackled by using a different regressor, which is neural network. The neural network doesn't have a straightforward way to get the uncertainty. Therefore, we used cross validation to sample to get the uncertainty from different regression neural network models. So here we have the result by using the MBTR for the structure plus the spin multiplicity with 4 dimensions. Here, this one. So we have the results here. We can see that the neural network with expected improvement acquisition function gave us the best results. When we use the the exploitation, which is the red one, it is this red curve here. And when we use just the uncertainty, we could not find the global minimum in all in all independent runs. So we have here just one independent run, and we can find, for example, for this instance, the global minimum in around 17 new local optimizations. Now we have the second problem, which is the molybdenum carbide, where we have to apply mutations to sample the non-observed space. So here, in this case, all the calculations were done using DFT. And in this case here, we have just 3 independent runs, and we could find the global minimum. With just try 1, 2, and 3, we used the Gaussian process, where the uncertainty comes from the method. And here we have just one independent run. I'm sorry, this here is not the independent run. It's just 3 independent runs. I'm sorry. Here we have instead of the cumulative success, we have the total energy as a function of the new local optimizations. And here we have just one independent run, and we can see that we can find the global minimum with, here we have 20 initial structures, and we can see that we can find the global minimum with around new 15 local optimizations compared to the initial database. So here we have some features of the QML material, where we have the application, the features in the input and the capabilities of the software, where we can find the global minimum structures of clusters and the spin multiplicity. We can find doping global minimum of clusters or solids. We can tackle vacancies, but without optimizing the spin as well. Here just the structures. We can tackle from active learning by using the software adsorptions on surfaces. Here we can tackle encapsulated systems and also surface reconstructions. We have several works to validate the software, and we are going from 1 to 6 in order to apply active learning to further problems. So we have so far the QML material uses the scikit-learn for regression. So far we have neural network, Gaussian process, and support vector regressors. We have several molecular and periodic descriptors by using the describe library. We can get the uncertainty from Gaussian process, cross-validation, or bootstrap. We can use utility functions in the software, expected improvement, exploitation, and pure exploration. For clusters, we have interface with genetic algorithm for sampling, and the software makes interface with Daemon, DFT+, Orca, and the QuantEspresso so far. So we acknowledge the agencies, the fellowship agencies. I acknowledge the Universidade Federal do Espírito Santo, the state of the Espírito Santo agency, and the University of Calgary, and other fellowships agencies. So thank you very much for your attention.